Welcome back to the channel, you filthy animals. Sorry, I'm just messing around. In today's video, we're taking a closer look at this 10S Guitars GF7, essentially a 7-string Les Paul. And how I'm going to do the order of this video is first I'm going to talk about the best things about this guitar, then I'll show you how it sounds in a full mix, then I'll talk about the things that were not so great about the guitar and more details about the guitar and how you can get one for yourself. And then at the very end, I'll show you how it sounds in a clean tone, a metal rhythm tone, and a lead tone. I can tell you right off the bat, though, I love this guitar, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, look at it. And before we go any further, I just want to remind you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more guitar reviews and guitar content coming down the YouTube pipeline. In full disclosure, I did already change out the bridge that came stock with this guitar for a Hipshot 7-string tone-o-matic bridge. As you can see here, the new bridge is a lot wider for a lot more room for saddle intonation / adjustments. And I did this because I knew that I wanted to try out a 7-string guitar tuning that I hadn't tried out before. I have this tuned and set up all the way down to drop A flat. I knew the bridge that came stock wouldn't be able to get very good intonation, at least on the low string for that low of tuning. But everything else is stock. And I am not sponsored by 10S Guitars to make this video, nor am I sponsored by Hipshot, but I probably should be. But anyways, back to the guitar, the best things about this guitar. First one is definitely the fretwork. These frets are insanely well polished and smooth. This high quality of fretwork is what you would expect to find on a $3,000 or $5,000 guitar, and yet this guitar is under $800. Another one of the best things about this guitar is the neck joint. This is hands down the best neck joint I've ever come across on a Les Paul guitar. It is super smooth, super easy to get your hand up in there and reach the higher frets. I've even tried one of the newer ESP LTD Eclipses, but still this is better than that. Another one of the best things about this guitar is that it actually stays in tune really well. It does come with real rubber tuners and an actual bone nut. And the last thing to talk about before we get into the full demo mix is the bridge pickup. These are Tesla passive pickups, but the bridge pickup in particular, to me, it sounds really good. It actually really responds to how hard you play the guitar. And it really shines in a metal rhythm tone. so now we're going to talk about the things that were not so great about the guitar. And so after I got the guitar and I took the old strings off and started setting it up and I was playing with it, I noticed that the pickup height was not quite where it needed to be. So I tried adjusting the pickup height, and the pickups themselves would only go so much higher. I ended up pulling the strings off and pulling the pickups out and seeing that the padding or the foam that was behind the pickups just didn't have quite enough spring to push the pickups as high as they needed to be. So what I ended up doing was taking one of these pieces of foam and put it behind the pickup and then put the pickup back in, and it gave it plenty of spring to push it up to where it needed to be. And you're probably saying, why did you need to adjust the pickup height? Well, it's because the pickups where they were, they sounded really weak. They sounded like they were really low output. And then I just looked at the pickup height, and yeah, there was just too much distance between them and the strings. Another not so great thing about this guitar is the packaging it came in. As you can see right here, I accidentally cut into the back of the body with a knife when I was trying to get the guitar out of this styrofoam sarcophagus that it came in. I mean, that can be chalked up to user error because it was me unboxing it with the knife and I wasn't careful enough. But the packaging, it was pretty hard to open. I did record an unboxing video. It's on my channel too. I'll put a link right here on the screen for it. So it's just something to be aware of. Another thing that I didn't like about this guitar was the sharp edge of the binding around the top of the body. When I was playing the guitar, I could really notice it digging into my forearm. But I was able to alleviate the problem. All I had to do was take a little bit of sandpaper and very gently sand the corner where the body was meeting my forearm. Just make it a little more rounded and not so pointy. And now it's super comfortable to play. And the last thing I don't really love about this guitar is the neck pickup. I mean, it sounds okay, but it's just not my favorite. To me, it just sounds a little quacky. It reminds me a lot of a Seymour Duncan 59 neck pickup. So just more about this guitar. I know another YouTuber, Agafish Hunter, has also reviewed this same guitar, and he talked about how the fingerboard edges weren't very rounded. And to me, I've played this for several months. To me, the fingerboard edges were never really a problem. I mean, they are a little more rounded now, just due to playing, than they were when I first got it, but that was never an issue for me. But I could also see why this guitar wouldn't be for everyone, because it is an open pore satin finish. So as you can clearly see here in the close-up, that the top of the body, it is textured. It is not all smooth like we are used to on most of the guitars we play. But in my opinion, that also makes it more unique. And I actually really love this guitar and the finish that it has. Not everyone is going to get the exact same looking guitar though. With the wood grain, it'll vary from guitar to guitar. But with this one I have, it's obviously more burled around the pickups, and then on the rest of the body, it's a little more flamed looking. But it also depends on the lighting and your angle. How the wood grain shows up can change. Now let's talk about the neck of the guitar. To me, it kind of bugs me when people describe neck profiles in the letters of C, U, or D, because to me that's kind of confusing, because depending on the font, the shape of one letter can change drastically. So to me it's not a very good uniform approach to describing neck profile. With that said though, the neck of this guitar is definitely round. I have a Jackson 7-string guitar with a very thin neck, and I have multiple 6-string guitars. Going from any of the 6-string guitars to this guitar, it's definitely going to feel like a bigger neck. To me though, it's still definitely comfortable to play, and it's not the thickest neck I've ever played. The scale length is 25.5 inches, which some people would have a problem with, but to me, this is perfect. I am absolutely used to 25.5 inch scale on the 7-string guitar, so this is right at home for me. And the big block inlays are actually pretty nice. There's definitely no way you'll be getting lost on the fretboard with those. To me, they actually look pretty good, and I wish I had more guitars with inlays like that. And just like I mentioned earlier, I did do a full setup on this guitar after I got it. These are not the strings that it came with. I do that with every guitar I buy. I set it up to my own liking. And also, according to 10S guitars, the fret material is nickel. It's not stainless steel, but it's such a quality fret job that I'm not really worried about that. That's not a downside for me. If the frets ever do wear out, then I could take it to a luthier and get it refretted with stainless steel frets if I want. Alright, now we're going to switch gears a little bit. On the screen you can see the reverb store for 10S guitars. And just a quick note, at the time of filming, this particular guitar was on sale for a little bit less than their usual price. And I have been monitoring their reverb store, and they do a sale a few times a year, and this guitar has been on the sale every time so far. So if you are looking to buy one of these, you might want to wait till it's on sale again. That's totally up to you, of course. And when I was looking to buy my own, I did message 10S Guitars about the weight of the guitar, and they were actually pretty quick to respond back to my messages. And I believe what they told me was about 9 pounds for the particular guitar I would be getting. For me, the guitar does not weigh too much. It's still pretty comfortable to play, but it's also not the lightest guitar in the world. But I have heard that swamp ash can vary in density from one piece to the next. So just something to be aware of. And 10S Guitars does have a couple of other really cool models. Like they do have the same 7-string but with a quilted maple top instead of a poplar burl top. And they do make a couple of baritones, including this beautiful red baritone that is a 27-inch scale. What I would love to see from 10S Guitars in the future would be for them to make more 7-string models. They could definitely do like a baritone 7-string, a 27-inch scale, or maybe even 28 inches. And they could do other finishes like this beautiful red burst, or even some blue burst, or turquoise burst, or purple burst. And being with everyone tuning lower and lower, I think most people will want a longer scale length than 25.5 inches on the 7-string guitar. But before I was even looking to buy this guitar, I heard that you should order through their reverb store because it's easier to see what they actually have in stock, and people seem to be having better luck ordering through their reverb store than through their actual website. I guess some people ordering through their website and were never receiving their orders because they got too popular too quick and they're just a small shop. So they were overwhelmed with how many orders they were getting. But for me, I just ordered through their reverb store and I had no problems. So when it comes to 7-string Les Pauls, your options are kind of limited. Epiphone does have the Matt Heffy signature 7-string Les Paul, but that is over $1,000 brand new. And ESP Ltd have made a couple 7-string Eclipses over the years. You can get some used for under $800 or $400 depending on which model you're getting, but the lower models, I can't expect that much quality out of those. Even the 1000 series Eclipses, they're not going to have the same level of fretwork as this 10S guitar has. Also, the ESP Ltd Eclipses are usually black. They don't really make very many color options for their 7-string Eclipses. All in all, I am very well pleased with this guitar. It was a pleasure to record with, and I plan on using it for many more songs to come. And this video has turned out to be a lot longer than I thought it would, but one more thing about the fretwork. I did notice playing the guitar, the frets are so insanely well polished that it is super easy to bend, even if you have some thicker string gauges on there. Still easy to bend, and if you're not careful, it is easy to bend the string right off the fretboard. I definitely did that several times, but if you are paying attention to what you're doing and then have good control, then it shouldn't be that much of an issue. I will put applicable links in the description below for the guitar and the bridge. And thanks for checking out my video. And before I close out the video, you will hear how the pickups sound in a metal rhythm tone, a metal lead tone, and also a clean tone by themselves outside of a mix. But thanks for watching, and take it easy, fellow humans. Goodbye.